Cubicmetre's orbital strike cannon is one of the most destructive weapons ever built in Minecraft. It is precise, it is terrifying, and until now it was unstoppable. See, while we've seen many uses for redstone, computers, calculators, even massive weapons, one thing it's never been used for is cyber warfare. Today, I'm going to be using redstone to hack Cubicmetre's orbital strike cannon and trick one of the most advanced and deadly Minecraft machines into destroying itself. This isn't just an attack on Cubicmetre's cannon, it's an attack on every copy of it on every server. A single circuit that, once built, permanently disables every orbital strike cannon on the server. This is a string of bits, and it is going to be our payload for a planned malicious injection into the cannon. You see, when it receives this command, it performs its usual function, creating a payload and shooting it. Of course, this time, the destination being itself. To pull this off, I had to build a machine that does the impossible. It sniffs out the cannon's private frequency and cracks the password, automatically and idly, for every cannon. See, Cubic really did try to keep this cannon safe. It's hidden fully underground, designed to show a minimal change in the pie chart. And while there are wireless protections, they are thankfully not sufficient. And the best part is that you don't need to be me to do this. Anyone can build this circuit and silently disable every orbital strike cannon on their server, working both on the Mark 6 and on the new MS version. Taking a step back, how does the cannon even receive instructions? On both of the two versions of the cannon that this hack is for, Entity ID wireless is used. In layman's terms, an individual bit is transmitted by detecting if an entity is created or not in a specific part of the tick in update order. I will go more in depth on how wireless redstone works in a month, in the first part of my wireless masterclass series, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that. Now, none of this works without a server to run it on, and for that, I'd recommend today's sponsor, Pine Hosting. You can get a server running in minutes, and the setup is genuinely painless. The config page is clean, and the CrisForge plugin installer means you're not manually hunting down mods. Performance is strong thanks to global server locations and great DDoS protection, which gives you the best possible ping wherever your players are. They don't just do Minecraft either. From Rust to Hytale, they cover a huge range of games. They've got a 4.9 star rating on Trustpilot, which speaks for itself. Prices are affordable, support is fantastic, and if you're already with another server host and want to switch, they'll personally help you move your server over. Use the link in the description or code iPlayGames for 30% off your first month. It works across all Pine Hosting servers, and it helps support this channel. Returning to the hacker, for the time being all we need to know is that if we know when exactly within a second the cannon's receiver activates, we can connect our own transmitter to it. To do this, we should split the problem up into the tick and the order within that tick. Thankfully, the way that the cannon's priority is encoded leaves for only 64 different priorities in each tick. And as there are 20 ticks within a second, we only have to check 1,280 configurations to find every cannon's priority in the world. For simplicity's sake, I will make the configuration of the timing offset have 32 options, which means it will technically check a few ticks within that second multiple times. But this is entirely fine, as it allows us to represent the whole delay as one binary number, having 5 bits for the delay within the tick and 6 for the update order. This means we have to check 2,048 configurations, which takes a little over half an hour. To further simplify the wiring, which we will soon see is quite necessary, we only check every 2 seconds, so it takes an hour of real time to detect every cannon on the server, worst case scenario. But how do we actually translate this bit string to a delay and priority within the tick? For delay, it's quite straightforward. You simply translate individual bits to powers of 2 of delay. So plus minus 1 tick, plus minus 2, plus minus 4, 8, 16, and so on. Well, only up to 16. This is easily doable by just picking a lane with more or less delay. But it immediately becomes apparent why we had to lower the frequency. If we send through a signal with the highest delay, followed by one of the lowest delay a second later, they intersect, which simply does not work, as only one signal can travel through at the same time. In addition to this, we will see that there's even more timing offset in how we encode the subtick priorities. Hook a counter up to all of this, as well as a 1 Hz clock, and we're good to go. This circuit will iterate through all timing offsets, 1 each second. Now let's take a closer look at how the priorities are encoded on the cannon. As I said, it is 6-bit, using 3 repeaters where 2 bits represent the setting on each. These repeaters encode a channel, basically a segment of update order within one tick, and every configuration is a separate channel, even if the total delay is the same. And you might think that, hey, this is basically the same situation as before. You could just have 4 different repeater settings for each repeater and swap between them. But there is one tiny problem with this approach. You see, in the actual cannon, the repeaters have another component in front of them, which changes their priority. And if we want to connect the outputs of multiple of these repeaters on different settings together, we need that block free to connect them. Sparing you the technical jargon, we ended up using a dust bud, which allows us to translate the update from a repeater with the correct priority to the input of another. Double all of this priority encoding to be able to create a receiver, and this will detect the cannon's receiver when it's on the exact same settings. We stop searching when this is the case and lock in this configuration. The binary number displayed here is a representation of the exact timings and priority this cannon is on. Importantly, this is done in a way whereas it doesn't trigger the receiver. Now, all that's left to do is to actually use this priority to transmit to the cannon, which is doable very easily once we have this signal. But what do we actually want to transmit to the cannon? That sequence, of course, for which we can just set up a hard-coded read-only memory. But I actually lied earlier. It's a fair bit more complicated than that, as there are 3 separate self-destruct sequences that we use, all for different purposes. See, not only are there 2 separate versions of the cannon that we're trying to hack, damageable in different ways, but there are also different situations for the various cannons. The MS version, for example, can be built underwater, which would leave it indestructible from above. Hence, it must be destroyed internally. The land-based Mark VI version, for contrast, is exposed to the sky, even if covered by blocks, meaning a direct stab charge is sufficient. But there is one more part we're missing: the password. Every transmission must first include a 10-bit password, giving 1024 possible combinations. We handle this with a simple counter that increments with each attempt, firing a shot instruction every 16 seconds, the cannon's cooldown. One by one, we work through every possibility until something lands. And we'll know exactly when it does. A successful shot means the cannon fires on itself, and that destroys the wireless receiver we previously locked onto. The signal vanishes. Our scanner detects the dropout, logs it as a confirmed kill, and automatically moves on, resuming its sweep through the remaining frequencies. Returning to the hacker, once it's built, it's trivially easy to use. All you have to do is flick this lever and it'll go on its way, hacking every cannon on the server. There are, however, a few spots where you could get stuck in the building process, so let's quickly overview how you can build this design on your server. To start, you should build the design as found in the schematic underneath this video. If you don't know how to use Likematica, look up a tutorial. I will not be covering this here. Let's say you've built this whole system. The first thing you should look out for is that these rails up here must be butted, meaning they must be on while not being powered. One of the best ways you can fix this, if it's not, is by just powering and unpowering this piston. After this, you should ensure that the dust buds are correctly set up. To effectively do this, you first put on the minecart and then put the redstone torch, after which this will effectively work in a way where if the dust is updated, it triggers and it will power everything ahead. Also note that these 2 daylight sensors must have skylight access. This means that the blocks above them must have access to skylight, but none of the surrounding ones do. So you could make a tunnel around these,
and even have it underground, except for these blocks, and just have a hole. The final thing to ensure is that all of the droppers have the correct amount of resources in them. Mainly, you should ensure that there are 9 unstackables in each set of droppers. So in these two, they should together have 9, these two, and so on and so forth. And then these 2 down here, and these 3 over here as well.
And that more or less wraps up today's video. If you're interested in the wireless masterclass or just want to support this channel and see other cool stuff that I get to in the future, please make sure to subscribe and have a good day.